This video contains important spoilers. This is the theme of the Southlands, a place of simple people. In the tavern, when a young man tells Arondir that one day the true king will return, the theme sounds even more sorrowful.
Our true king will return and pry us right out from under your pointy boots.
Taking a last look.
79 years I've been stationed here. Suppose I've grown accustomed to it.
What do you think?
In the second chapter, the theme is applied to Halbrand, and a first connection is established.
The tides of fate are flowing.
Well, if no one else will.
Yours may be heading in. Or out.
Our true king will return.
Is Halbrand the king they are waiting for in the Southlands? Gradually the music becomes more closely linked to the character. As we will discover in the final chapter, he is Sauron, and he is pretending to be from the Southlands. And he will pose as such to Galadriel.
Please, for both our sakes, let me keep it. Perhaps some peace could do you good as well.
Your lands, Halbrand.
Sauron is satisfied that he has succeeded in convincing Galadriel that he is Halbrand of the Southlands.
Come with me to Middle-earth, and together we will redeem both our bloodlines.
Who among you will stand and fight?
Sauron, in his role as Halbrand, collaborates with the people of Numenor to help the Southlands.
And place a crown upon your head. Many might assume you used me.
Find another head to crown.
With the people of the Southlands surrendering to Ardar, the Sauron hidden in Halbrand shows his torment and his doubts.
So will you.
Sometimes to find the light, we must first touch the darkness.
What do you know of darkness?
But behind them, he becomes Galadriel's ally. And in the struggle of the people of the Southlands, Sauron is with them.
I'm alright.
You remember me?
No.
I never believed I could be.
As Halbrand, Sauron seems to find aspects of himself that he was unaware of.
At your side, I felt... If I could just hold on to that feeling. Keep it with me always.
Is it true? Are you the king we were promised?
Yes.
The people's conviction of being before their king is complete.
You believed in me. You saw strength in me. You pushed me to heights that no one else could have. I will never forget that. And I'll see to it that no one else does either.
But finally Galadriel discovers the deception.
Against your enemy. And mine.
Tell me your name.
I have had many names.
Why has Sauron lied? Why has he pretended to be Halbrand?
And in the stillness of that first sunrise, at last, I felt the light of the One again. And I knew, if ever I was to be forgiven, that I had to heal everything that I had helped ruin.
No penny.
Since he was her mortal enemy, he could only approach her in the form of the king of the Southlands so that he could come to reign, together with her, over all Middle-earth. Sauron, the Lord of Darkness, manifests his immense power through his music, a single but divided theme with two distinct parts. The first one is the central motif, a few solemn, threatening, perfectly recognizable notes, with which he is somehow physically present through the music.
A cruel and cunning sorcerer. They called him Sauron.
The second part of the theme that is used is not the main one, but a persistent, macabre, disturbing ostinato, which does not represent him so much as his aura, his power, and that ostinato, like a toxic cloud, contaminates absolutely everything.
We resisted.
This was no ground shake. Someone dug this passage.
Something. Men did not do this.
Go.
And the Southlands are in grave danger.
If Sauron has indeed returned, the Southlands.
And it also contaminates other characters like Galadriel.
To the ends of the earth we hunted Sauron. But the trail
or generates doubts about others, like the stranger. This duality of the theme is maintained throughout all the chapters of the first season of the series, until the identity of Sauron is finally revealed.
I've had many names.
Something that could already be imagined in the musical connection between the two, as we showed in advance in a video.
If at the end of the series it turns out that they are the same character, or that there is a direct connection, we will be able to say that McCreary had already told us.
It is significant that Sauron's theme is never heard in Halbrand's presence, with this one exception. This reinforces the stealth and imposture that the character adopts. But given that Halbrand is Sauron and our knowing it, what then does his music represent? Clearly it expresses his immense power, as explained at the beginning, but since Sauron is already physically present under Halbrand's skin, it acquires a new significance, compatible with the previous one, and it is the distressing and fearful impression it causes in all those characters who think of him.
It's how we survive. Perhaps it's who we are. Who we will always.
Who talk about him.
One you call Sauron devoted himself to healing Middle-earth, bringing its ruined lands together in perfect order.
And who seek to defeat him.
A sea that you were on because the elves cast you out. They cast you out for deigning to beg them for a few petty soldiers. What will they do when you tell them that you are my ally? When you tell them that Sauron lives because of you!
Like Sauron, the stranger is also shown musically in two ways, with a brief arpeggio and with a musical theme.
Where are all the others? You know, of your kind like you. Are there any others?
Although the arpeggio and the theme appear often together, they seem to represent different things. The arpeggio is related to the mystery generated by the character.
What is it?
The theme, on the other hand, seems to be related to something outside that the stranger longs for. Perhaps it is the music of the place where he comes from. Perhaps he knows this music and it means something very important to him. Hence its melancholic, sad tone. And because of its waltz rhythm it seems to be very much related to the dance of the constellations.
They're stars. A kind of constellation. This is how we help him. He wants us to help him find those stars.
In any case, this mystical and bucolic vision of the theme will not last long. Sauron's theme appears with him at his very arrival. The mystics believe that he is Sauron and Sauron's evil aura takes over his spaces. growing and exerting such pressure that Sauron's theme becomes a real counter-theme that causes the music of the stranger to transform in two ways. On the one hand, the theme and its arpeggio stop representing different things, fascination and mystery, but advancing hand in hand will mean the same thing. On the other hand, the music will no longer emphasize either fascination nor mystery, but in some way anguish, vulnerability. Although there are attempts of strength as in this scene, it is a defensive music, which exposes a character begging for help. Nori gives him that help. The mystics, however, deny it to him.
For who you truly are. You fell from the stars, yet you are greater than they.
The music of the stranger must detach itself from that of Sauron in order to fly and be free. When it is detached, it flies and it becomes free.
In those moments, it's our task to make our feet go where our hearts wish not to tread. No matter the perils awaiting us on the way,